was at a wedding the night before, and I literally was like absolutely tuned, and I turned on the TV. My girlfriend's like, didn't you bet on Kim? I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of Kims out there, honey. She goes, oh, it's Tom Kim. And he had like a 5-shot lead, and he won that tournament. Man, we made boxcars when he won.
Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, a brand new show on the Pat Mayo Experience because there's no football this week. So we have the PGA Pebble Beach Best Bets, the gold, the silver, the bronze. If you good people out there have not played in the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League, there's 400 spots remaining. Go get that right now. There'll be a newsletter, free newsletter, coming out on Wednesday evening with all of the final plays. Another weather update, because that is really the story of this week, is are we going to finish by next Wednesday? Who knows? With how the weather, rain, and wind is going to go at Pebble Beach, we'll wait and see. On that front, smash like to the episode, download the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Yeah, it's all there. Turn on your auto downloads and rate it 5 stars. That can always go a long way to helping out the show. But I brought in, well, Cam is usually on the Best Bet show. However, the degenerate 75, James, you are also joining us for the PGA Best. We need a bit more energy than Pizzola and someone who actually knows golf. So this is perfect. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. There's not too many guys. There's probably like 10 people in this world that I would get up at 8 a.m. for, and it just happens to be that 2 of them are Cam and Pat. So that just lets you know how special this show is to me.
Cam, are you ready to talk some golf?
Wow. I don't know. This James is like, we got to work together, because I'll tell you, I don't get this much love from everybody. It's usually you got shows to tape, screw off, what your invoice is up 150. Yeah, Pat, you'd be proud of me though. I've never felt better. I've been taking this stuff, and these guys aren't paying me. I know we've done stuff for Omaha Steaks, but I went to the Healthy Planet, and that's kind of opposite of what I do. But I found this super beet stuff, like this beets, and I hate beets. It's the only food I don't like, but since I've been taking it, I'm going to tell you, like, I feel like I can like literally have sex with a rhinoceros. Like, I feel 100 times better than I am. And I met this Uber driver, and he's telling me about, remember I told you about the mythical powers of oysters? I know, to give you a sex drive. I found some new thing. It's clove. Like I got some Indian Colgate with clove, and I feel great. And I bought a wooden stick. It's a stick that you put in your mouth, and basically like a natural toothbrush. I don't know what the hell's going on. Know why you see East Indians like living to 120? Because that's what they do, and they breed, and they have good, like, you know what I mean? Low blood pressure. So I'm actually feeling better these days for a change, Pat, ready to rock.
So you got cloves, you got beets, and a wooden spoon, and now you're just perfect?
No, wooden stick. Wooden stick.
Sorry.
It's basically, it's a toothbrush without the, because bristles fall off. It's just, you just put it in your mouth, and it's made of clove. And the guy was right. Like, I've been doing it for like literally a week, and I'm starting to feel better. First couple of days, I'm like, yeah, this sounds like BS. This is bullshit. But no, it's working. And I didn't really know cloves were the East Indian oysters. Like, it's good for your sex drive. Just for a tip for everybody out there.
Yeah, so I mean, we got free bets. Those are mostly losers, but we have Cam with free tips on your sex drive. Sounds like it's a winner to me.
It's a damn winner, Pat. And last week, we need winners. After Baltimore sunk my ship, I got to tell you, betting against Kansas City out of spite, fuck, that's stupid. I got to stop doing that. But I'm probably going to take the Niners in the Super Bowl because I'm a stooge.
So if people are unfamiliar with the Best Bet show because they don't watch during NFL season, which A, weird. I don't know why you wouldn't be doing that. But B, we do our best bet, our second best bet, our third best bet. And it's not really, I mean, you can go to the outright market. It'd be really tough being like, here's my best bet. It's 75 to 1. We have the outright show for that. And listen, I'm going to make my outright bets. This one is focusing more on head-to-head matchups, placements, top 30s, whatever it might be by the discretion of me or the guest, whatever they want to go to. So I will start things off for the gold pick right now. I'm going to the very top, not the very, very top of the board, but I'm taking Patrick Cantlay, top 20, minus 140. I will have a show that's coming out in a few weeks' time. I did it with the Model Maniac, where we broke down the most profitable bets and the most profitable golfers over the course of the last 12 months, and which markets are actually a bit underpriced, despite the fact that they don't seem that way. And the one thing that really jumped out to him when we were going through it, James, was these high-end golfers at minus odds, minus 140, because people who bet golf don't want to bet minus anything, because they're used to, I'll bet someone at 100 to 1. But the top 20 market for elite players, even in elite fields, turns out to be quite profitable, as it turns out.
Yeah, like every week I always give all my members, I do a thing like percentage of the time they'll finish in the top 10. And it's frequent that guys like Xander, Scheffler, Rory will be well over 50% to have a top 10 rate. And if you know that they're going to get over that 50-60% of the time, you can lay a little bit of negative juice and still make it profitable, especially in these like, limited fields where there's only 80 people this week. It only increases their chances of getting those top 10. So it is a good way. It's not, everybody wants those big hits at sports betting, but a lot of times you're going to be better just taking those nice singles every week. And I think it makes it much more sustainable.
So the Fantasy National redesign is almost complete. There's still a few things trickling over, like the rolling report. That'll be back very soon. You can custom adjust your percentages again, but the simulator is back on the market as well. I took a look at Xander. Xander had a 61% top 20 rate in this tournament, but he was like minus 170. So I went with Patrick Cantlay, who's right around 55% for a top 20. I actually think in a field this small, Cam, with only 80 players, it's probably even higher than that. And the reason that I took Cantlay is because he's actually one of the few people who plays in this tournament every year. He is used to the Pro-Am. He's used to these courses. And we have seen course history play itself out at Pebble Beach over the years.
Great call too, Pat. I talk about the top 10 and 20 market. Only one guy's going to win the damn tournament. Like, look at me last week with nasty Nate Lashley. He almost for 1 minute, I'm like, oh my God, can this guy make a couple more birdies and I can win I was going to win like 20 grand. I had him at 500 to 1, but that never happens. I didn't expect the Frenchman to win for the first time since 1907. Pavon, hey, got to hand it to him. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. How many times have you taken that guy 26, whatever? You take the big dogs. Schauffele's having a good year. He just can't close the door. That's the problem with that guy. He's a top 10 machine. He just has problems winning the tournament. Great call on Cantlay too. I think he has the type of personality where nothing will rattle him. It doesn't matter if he's playing with some stiff like owner of GE or another guy from I don't know which rich guy he's playing with, but that he'll be the same guy regardless. He'll just power his way through the tournament. I like Cantlay a lot this week as well.
I always found it strange because of the Pro-Am. And the Pro-Am's only the first 2 rounds instead of the first 3 rounds like it normally is at Pebble Beach, James. And Cantlay plays so slow anyway. Same as Jason Day. Like, Jason Day plays so slow. Cantlay plays so slow. These are 2 of the guys that have the most success at this tournament year over year. But maybe it's just the pace that they want to play at.
I mean, I've always been a big proponent of strokes gain psychology. And when these guys get to courses they feel good at, or they're playing at a pace they play at, whatever it may be, as long as it gets them in their good mental spot, that's when I want to be betting on guys, putting money on guys. And I'm down for a narrative that Patrick Cantlay plays better because he's playing in a slow, environment where he feels more comfortable. So you don't have to sell me on that. I'm in.
Patrick Cantlay is playing with Egan Durban. I don't know who that is.
Sounds like what is this guy?
Aren't they all
Irish?
athletes?
Yeah, he sounds like an Irish kind of Egan. What do you think, Pat? What's the guess?
Well, he's the co-CEO and managing partner of Silver Lake. Now I need to figure out what Silver Lake is. It's a technology
probably a golf club.
It is a technology management company.
Why don't they just get anyway? I don't want to get in this. Remember, it's the same dudes too, like the fucking old guy from, but I love Brent Snedeker. He always plays with the guy who went to Vanderbilt as well. It would be nice in this tournament to get some fresh blood, to get some new guys in there. We all know it's the same old story. Here comes Bill Murray with the exploding golf ball. I'd like to see somebody else. And, there's probably a lot of young, different people just for people that are really into golf, but I don't know. That's the way they do it. It just new rotation would be nice.
Well, they got rid of all of the celebrities this year. It's basically just a few athletes and these CEO types, like the Bill Murrays and Larry the Cable guys. They're gone this year.
Yeah, Larry the Cable guy. Yeah, who's the other guy? The country singer Toby Keith, Red Solo Cup. He's there. Yeah, Bill. Any football players or athletes like Larry Fitzgerald? He's pretty cool dude, but. Anybody like that there this year? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we got Fitzgerald, Alex Smith, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Pau Gasol, it looks like.
Interesting.
And Steve Young.
So, guys, Allen will probably be with Keith Mitchell, correct? Aren't they buddies?
Are they? Is that how it works?
I remember from the last time they played golf together. I kind of put 2. That's my guess. Keith Mitchell and Josh Allen, I think, are buddies.
Oh, yeah, this is a grouping. It's Keith Mitchell and Josh Allen and Keegan Bradley and Tom Brady.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah.
New England ties and then that. See, Pat, we're figuring it out already on the fly. Good stuff.
So anyway, that's my gold pick is going to be Cantlay.
I love it.
Top 20 minus 140. James, you are up for the gold pick.
Real quick, how do they make those pairings? Is it like because I'm sure some guys want to be with the better players. Like I imagine like getting with Scotty or Rory or somebody like that is probably a pretty hot ticket. They're like, is it like based on how much money you give, or how does this work?
I
That's
think
a good call.
I think that the tournament does it. Like an amateur can request a player to go play with, but I do think that someone like Rory, like whoever his biggest sponsor is, he probably has to play with like that CEO.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was gonna say like a guy like Mr. Burns who wants to just beat his buddies and throw them more money on the pile would be like, yeah, give me Scheffler, give me Rory, like one of those guys, right? So it makes sense, Pat. You're absolutely right. Whoever gives you the most dough, you're probably gonna have to hack it up with for sure.
Yeah. So Rory's playing with a guy named Jeff Rhodes, who is I have no idea who he is.
No relation to Dusty Rhodes or Cody Rhodes. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but by the look of him, no, he is not related to any
No.
of the Rhodes family. He is a co-managing partner at TPG Capital.
Whatever.
They seem to be
A CD collection.
Yeah, they seem to be investing in. Rory McIlroy is amongst. Okay, so he is investing with this Jeff Rhodes guy in like Royal Troon and like revamping some European courses. So like they're pals, I guess.
Okay. Just always wondered that. I never know any of that stuff. All right, you get a bronze pick. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go
gold
right. I thought
pick.
I was
Gold
gonna-
pick.
Gold. Give us. Yeah, see, you're like me. I usually Pat. You're learning quick, my
Gold
friend.
pick.
That's
All right.
yeah. I got to start
We're
with
starting
gold.
with the best. All right. Well, then my gold pick is going to be a head-to-head matchup, and it's going to be Justin Thomas versus old Ludwig Iceberg. And the reason's simple, right? I think Iceberg's ceiling for the future is great. I think that he is going to be an incredible talent, top 5 player in the world written all over him, but he's not there yet. And I'm just not convinced that he is going to be rolling in putts on this POA. I don't think this is a great course fit for what he does the best. And honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think Justin Thomas is finally unbroken, and he is playing incredible golf right now. And the fact that I'm getting basically even money at -110 against Iceberg at a course that Justin Thomas has seen before, a part of the country he is used to playing at, I feel pretty confident that Justin Thomas is going to beat Iceberg probably about 60% of the time in a head-to-head matchup. That's about as good a value as I'm ever going to see at a head-to-head. So I'm going to be taking Justin Thomas there.
I do worry that Justin Thomas will do. If you had money on Justin Thomas in the final round at the Amex, and you're like, "Oh, you could have most definitely won this tournament," except you kept putting the ball in the water. It just but I mean,
Right, Pat, remember Nick Saban? Nick Saban, line one. I'll tell you, when I'm playing cash tournaments, I love Justin Thomas. Meanwhile, this guy Dunlap's coming out of nowhere, and Thomas puts one off the rocks. I'm like, thanks, that was great. Remember that? He's like picking up Justin Thomas. I'm like, this is great. Kiss of death, mush. Larry Lemon. Yeah, we were done.
Yeah,
Thomas that week.
Saban talked about how much composure Justin Thomas has.
Yes.
He puts it in the water and starts slamming his club on the other part of like the tee box. And the commentators just don't reference it whatsoever.
No, they don't. I love that pick, by the way. I love that pick. I actually have a matchup, Pat, just to keep things rolling right now. I got Fitzpatrick over Aubert or whatever you want to. He'll always be Aberg or Iceberg to me. Good call. I like Iceberg, but he's going to be wicked. One of my favorite players. But I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick plus 105 over Aberg. I think Fitzpatrick is going to have a really, really good week. And it's tough because they have a matchup bet with Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood, and I kind of like them both this week. We're expecting weather, and I think Fitzpatrick's the type of guy, and he has the demeanor to get through this. He's played well at this course before. A mixed bag. He's also had a missed cut, but I'm going to tell you, I like Matthew Fitzpatrick. I like his game, and I think he's going to do real well. Actually, I like him outright, Pat, at 35. So why wouldn't I take him over Aubert in a matchup bet at plus money? So give me Matthew Fitzpatrick, the young, skinny Englishman. Still got braces? Yeah, 105. Plus 105 against Aubert.
He doesn't have the braces anymore. The braces are gone.
Great teeth. The all-teeth team, Charles Howell III, Fitzpatrick, Bob Seeger, great choppers.
Charles Schwartzel?
Thanks. Oh yeah, Schwartz. Great call. Oh, yeah, that was Brian Blessing's joke. Corn and cob eating contest. Schwartzel versus Fitzpatrick. I'm like, yeah, no, Schwartzel's got nice guy though. Great, yeah, he's got huge teeth. Huge.
Hey, I bet Charles Howell III on the Live Tour this week.
Amazing. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's
How's he been doing over there? That
Actually
used to
pretty
always be
good.
my guy.
He's actually pretty good.
Okay.
He's okay.
Chucky 3 sticks.
Yeah, I bet him and Danny Lee at like 250 to 1.
Wow, what a price. Danny Lee's let me down. know who's
Wait.
the other guy, Pat, that I used to bet? I'm not even sure. Curtis Luck, I used to take. The guy with the ponytail, the Aussie with the ponytail. No, he's never cashed a ticket.
Did you say 250 to 1 in like a 48-man field?
Yeah.
That's
That's
amazing.
insane.
Yeah,
That's
it really
insane.
is.
I couldn't, like, Charles Howe was 33 to 1. And I was like, oh, yeah, I always like Danny Lee at Mayakoba. I'll like scroll down and find him. It was like 250 to 1.
Oh.
It's like maybe he's
And
like, maybe he
when
lost
Danny
a
Lee's
leg.
good Danny Lee, he can win. Like Danny Lee's one of those dudes that like, he's garbage, but when it flips on, like he's a guy you want to have. He'll go win you a tournament.
I believe they both won on Live last year, so they can do it.
Right.
So hopefully one of them can do it again this year, and then we're going to be rolling.
Love
in
you
the
to hit a
Bucks.
bomb like that, Pat. We haven't had a bomb like that since Torbjorn Olesen Snakes on a Plane. What was he, 250 to 1 back in the day? I like that guy too. And you know what the best is? Didn't he win last week? The week I'm not on him because there's so much football and stuff. I'm like, great. Now Thunder Bear wins when I have no money on him. I bet him every week.
It's funny because I had bet him the week before and did not bet him last week.
Yes. Thank you, Pat. Exactly. You're reading my mail.
Silver selections for Pebble Beach. I have a head-to-head matchup that I'm going with, and it kind of goes along the same lines of what you guys were talking about, fading Aubert. It's not that I'm like fading Rory, that I think that Rory's going to have a bad week, but when I think of Rory, Ludwig Aubert, and Nikolai Højgaard, like the one thing that those three share is that they're prodigious players off the tee. Like they can bomb it, they can hit it accurately, and that's the big skill that's mitigated at Pebble Beach. So you're forced to lay up. There's really wide fairways here. Yeah, you can bomb and gouge it into the rough if you want, but you don't hold a distinct advantage over Andrew Putnam off the tee this week where you would at basically any other course on tour. So I'm kind of fading all of those guys. And then I took a look at Bo Hostler's odds. I was like, well, there's zero chance I'm going to bet him at 50 to 1 to win this tournament. And if he was like 150 to 1, sure, sign me up for Bo Hostler. I know that he played pretty well last week. He has some good course history at Pebble Beach over the years, but like he's not in the same class of player as the other guys. Bo Hostler at 50 and Hideki at 60 doesn't quite meet in the middle for me when I'm looking at outright winning odds, but I think this is a market where I do like Hostler. I like Hostler over Nikolai Højgaard at -110 in a head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, I love it. Pat, I'm going to tell you something. Hostler, I think, is like a good top 10, 20 bet. I know he has problems sometimes, getting that win, but he's there.
Sometimes,
really.
Hey, it's not sometimes,
sorry.
it's every time.
Every week. Every time I've had big Bo Hostler. You're right. But the thing, know what he does? He collects paychecks. That's what I know. He's a good top 10, top 20 player, and I kind of agree with you. I was actually looking at Hostler too to win, but I looked at the odds. The best I found was 55, but he's going to make the top 20 market for sure.
Yeah, I think the top 20, top 30 is probably where you want to play him. It's just in terms of just legitimate value. Like you're taking a look at the betting board. Like Tom Kim is 50 to 1, who's won 3 times in 2 years, and is that a great course for him? Is there a chance that Bo Hostler has a better like average finish than Tom Kim at this tournament? Probably. But if we're talking about who's going to win, James, it's probably Tom Kim over Bo Hostler.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Tom Kim's got that upside that Bo Hostler just doesn't have. But I will say that I'm not breaking any news here, but the weather looks pretty suspect this week. It's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, and it's going to be possibly windy 3 of the 4 days. And to me, I think that is something you want to lean into when picking some of these bets. That's why I really liked his Fitzpatrick over old Iceberg a minute ago, is because we know that Fitz can grind his balls off when it gets tough out there, and we don't really know that yet about old Ludwig. So playing that angle and really getting some guys that can grind, I think is a great way to maybe catch a little bit of an edge in the betting market this week.
What about the Irish Bear, Shane Lowry? He seems that he's won at the Open Championship. He's kind of one of those guys, isn't he?
Is Lowry even here?
He's not in the field.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not in the
He's
field.
not in the field?
No.
The Irish Bear's not in the field? Holy jeez. I thought I saw him at like 50 to 1. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I must be losing my mind, Pat. I'd say Lowry would play well this week, but
yep.
Yeah, he would strike. He would strike me as kind of the type to do it. But you bring like where it's only 80 players, and it might just really come down to what day is going to be more windy when the players are playing Pebble Beach. Because if it's super windy one of the days that they're playing Pebble Beach, that might be a huge disadvantage. Where it's Spyglass, you might be protected from the wind a little bit. Then the next day, it's completely off, and you have a good day at Pebble. Like the rotation of the courses might play a significant factor here. As I mentioned off the top when I went through my outright bets, that I just played 5 long shots, and I'll probably do some in-tournament betting. I still might get to Fitzpatrick because he was kind of my favorite from the top-end guys, Cam, like you. But the highest guy on my card to kick things off this week was Ben Ann at 55-1.
That's so funny. I have Ben Ann for a top 30, Pat. I'm going to take him like literally 20, 30, 40. I just think he fits the bill this week. And his name kind of popped out at me. I found, like, I don't know how you guys feel about Scotty Scheffler this week. I know, like, it's hard to go against this guy any week, but, like, he's in a matchup bet versus McIlroy, and he's, like, plus money on my site, plus 102. Like, I was thinking, like, I don't know how you guys feel about Scheffler this week, but I'm trying to find ways to fade Rory, even though that's probably pretty stupid.
You can get Scheffler at plus money versus Rory. I would take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on one of my sites, Pat. It's got a plus 102, and I told you I got Fitz over Iceberg there. So yeah, I'm actually going to bet that too. So those are things I like. I love your Ben on pick, by the way. I think he's going to have a nice week.
I think we need to get the Ben Ann on Pat Mayo experience going. We need to get that movement going in the ether.
Listen, if PGA Tour players want to come on the Pat Mayo experience, I am here at any time during the day to talk with them and whatever they want to say. But James, do you have a silver pick?
I do. I'm gonna go. I think this will be my first kind of off the board one. I can already. I don't know if Andrew Cuss would be turning over in his grave with this one, or if this is gonna make his day. But I really like this. Will there be a hole in one? No, is plus 140 this week. I went and did some research, and this tournament usually does give up a hole in one. And I think what the books did is they just went and looked at the past several years and just said, more often than not, people are making a hole in one. Let's make this a negative bet if you're going yes. But what they're failing to realize is the majority of the hole-in-ones came on the course that they're not playing this week, right? Monterey Peninsula. The two courses that give up the fewest ones are actually Pebble Beach and Spyglass, where they're going to be playing the two of them, right? And I know I'm very familiar with the 7th hole, the little short wedge shot. It's like 100 yards. But with the wind, with the cold conditions, and I actually think the soft greens makes it quite a bit harder to make a hole-in-one on that. And then lastly, don't forget there's only 80 guys in this field. So basically, there's only half as many shots coming from the pros that could be a hole-in-one, right? So with all those things, I feel pretty good about getting plus money. I would have almost taken it at even money, but the fact that I'm getting plus 140 on no hole-in-one, I feel pretty good about that one. I like that one.
I like that a lot. I like that
Great
research.
Yeah.
I go, hey, the dominoes are falling. North Carolina just legalized sports betting. It's about to happen in Texas, and then right here in the great state of Oklahoma. So I've really started to get to be a sweaty tryhard at sports betting.
Are you a Sooner?
I am.
A Golden Hurricane? Oh, you're a Sooner. That's funny. I work with Joe Ranieri. He's a Cowboy, but we still get along. Shout out to Sooner Lisa, who likes all the programming. But we got a lot of good people of Oklahoma, man. Great. A lot of people in Oklahoma like to gamble, so that's good for the state.
We're good and simple people here in Oklahoma.
I like Oklahoma.
There was a few head-to-heads that I found. Like, I'm on DraftKings Sportsbook right now, Cam, and they have the Scheffler versus Rory head-to-head, and it's Scheffler minus 120.
Wow, I can't believe. Look, maybe people are betting it, Pat, but I saw plus 102. But that was, I think it was FanDuel Ontario, and they had some crazy stuff. Let me tell you, for football, they posted like a McCaffrey MVP at plus 480, and it was 3-something at other places. I've really noticed, Pat, they jack up lines for like the Raptors, Leafs, and like the National Hockey League for favorites. But when it comes to golf and stuff, you can find some pretty good numbers if you shop around. You got to. As we talk about, betting's like the grocery store. I get my meats at this place. I get my canned goods at this place, right? You got to have multiple books because a lot of them have different numbers.
And you need a good cheese place. You always got to have a good cheese place. Cam.
Oh, I love cheese. Yes, I like cheese. Big cheese guy. Yeah.
Me too. You can tell. You probably tell by looking at us. Me and Cam aren't skipping over
exactly.
the cheese.
Yes. I should be from Wisconsin. Man, I'm craving a poutine, and it's, what is it, 9:50 in the morning? Oh, man, Pat, nice gravy and cheese curds right now with some fries. Let's rock. See, that's why I'm taking Super Beets now. That'll mitigate the cheese. It's a pick 'em and a push.
I hate poutine so much.
Do you really?
It's gross.
You're the best.
Can a Canadian say that? Is that even legal? Like, is that not
Pat
hate
can
speech
do
in Canada?
Pat can do whatever he wants. He's kind of like, he has more of a French palate than a munch of cake Canadian palate.
Hey,
sure.
poutine is French.
Actually, it is French. That's well, fries and gravy and cheese curds. Yeah, I guess it is. It's from Quebec, but they do it. And what do they do in the States? I think they call it wild fries or whatever. When I went down, like me and Morency were doing something down there, and they had like, it wasn't called poutine. It was just basically poutine, but it had a different name, like Crazy Fries. I'm like, okay, yeah, gravy and cheese curds. I get you.
James, have you voted? Have you voted in the Custies yet?
I have not. I know I should. Look. I've told you this before, Pat. I always bitch about these people that won't do these basic things, and then I look at me as a viewer because I watch all the shows and everything, and then I don't do it. So I'm no better than the people I bitch about. It's a fact.
Well,
I'm a jerk too.
See, I bring this up because listen, I can be very much the same way when it comes to. I'll listen to a show that I really like, and they're like, "Hey, can you fill out this survey for us? It would mean a lot to the show." It's like, there's no fucking way I'm doing that. But I'm like, I really need people to do that for certain things like rating and reviews, sign up for this, join the newsletter, shit that takes literally 15 seconds or something like that. Nothing out of my day would change whatsoever if I went and did this, and it would probably be beneficial to me. This is why I bring it up so often. You can vote in the Custies right now. It is down in the description. The Listeners League is right next to it, and the free newsletter is right next to it too. You can bang out the Custies, you probably want to read through it. Someone told me they spent 3 hours reading through the Custies because the choices were too tough for them.
Wait, was that Tim that did that? That sounds like something Tim would say.
I doubt Tim. Tim probably just clicked on it, voted for Jeff, and went on his way. Although Tim's meme campaign, Tim released a meme that no one understood, and he hasn't released a meme since. So he's turtling in the corner right now. He thinks that Jeff's coming at him.
Yeah, no, they both have major issues, and you could throw me in the most Pat. I got major problems as well, but some of the things Cuss says, like being an astronaut and shit, it's unbelievable actually. Like his carts for grocery shopping. Like I love the man though. I'll tell you one thing about Tim. He's a really cool dude. Oh yeah, Pat, by the way, I'm with you with surveys. I got one. Barb, remember I told you about Barb, property manager? She's out. They want me to do a survey, and I need a proxy for this vote for the new condo manager tonight. Sounds like a Seinfeld episode. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I got shows to do. I don't give a shit about this condo meeting, but yeah, I need a proxy. And I basically, I have none. Like, they need me to know a neighbor. I don't know the guy's name or anything like that that's involved in this condo stuff. I'll tell you though, real shifty. The fees keep on going up. We need to do an investigation on these things. We've talked about it. I know these guys are siphoning money. I just can't prove it.
Well, maybe if you went to the meeting, you'd be able to prove it.
Well played, Patrick. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff. You know, we're busy. I'm with you though on surveys. They reek.
So
they absolutely reek.
There is a head-to-head matchup at DraftKings Sportsbook right now, James. Morikawa and Spieth. Morikawa is minus 140 and Spieth is plus 120. I found that really surprising.
Spieth.
That's shocking just in the fact that everybody loves Spieth at this course. I would think they would know that the market would just inherently want to bet Spieth over Morikawa just based on course history and, Spieth being associated with Pebble Beach and him saying it's his favorite course. I have to imagine that's going to be one of the biggest leans towards one side of a bet you're going to see this week. I cannot believe Spieth is that big of plus money against Morikawa, who's coming off a miscut.
Well, maybe it's just people are waiting so long in the week to do this, but Cam, wouldn't that just tell you that the money's actually coming in on Morikawa?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Pat. I had Morikawa a couple times, and it's just one of those things. He's got a loose round in him, and he's a hard guy to bet at his numbers right now. I don't care. Is he going to win? Like, I'm not going to be on him. I prefer Spieth. You're going to give me plus money at Spieth versus Morikawa? Call me a sucker. Like, I feel like it's almost like a fish line, but I don't care. Like, I like Spieth better.
All right, well, where are you going to go with your silver pick, Cam?
It's funny. We already mentioned this guy, and I'm going to take the top 30 market, but I want more. I want Big Bull Hostler, top 20 plus 175. I think, and it's so funny. I like Justin Thomas as well. He's plus 110, but I'm going to take Hostler for the money. So give me plus 175. He's in great form right now. We know the Visor's probably not going to win this tournament, but I think he can just, I think he'll be on page 1 and 2 of the leaderboard. And on Sunday, I wouldn't even be shocked if he was close to the leaderboard and just faded a little bit. Just need him to stay in the top 20 in great current form right now. And I think he'll do fine at Pebble Beach. So I'm going to take Hostler plus 175 for a top 20, Pat. I really like the pick.
Well, if you go to DraftKings Sportsbook right now, Cam, I'm going to save you some money here. You can get him at plus 190 at DraftKings Sportsbook.
What the hell? Wow, I see. Grocery stores. I obviously shopped at the wrong one.
It's funny. I recorded a show with Pizzola and Jeff last night for when I'm away, so it'll come out probably in 2 weeks. And it was called, if you were the czar of sports betting, like what were the first things you could change? And Rob was talking about price shopping, and Feinberg kind of pointed out, it's like, people will not price shop when it comes to betting and look for value here, but they would wait an hour in line to save 4 cents a gallon on gas.
Yeah, or at the grocery store when there's a lineup of 20 when the automatic things are taken and some idiot's price checking, right? Oh, that store has it at that. Do we price match? Honestly, Pat, like there's got to be a special lane for that. Like we have things to do. Like you know what I mean? Like we're in this business where we're cutting videos all day. It's like, come on. Like I got ladies like 20, 30 minutes like negotiating. I saw these Planters peanuts for $2.99 at the other place. And we're sitting there going, yeah, like that. See, Pat, that's a good idea. The price check line and then other lines instead. We're just sitting there like morons all day at the grocery store. It's ridiculous.
If I could just add to that, I would say that being a long-term sports betting profitable player is a very small minority of people. And really about the only way you're ever going to do it is to be price shopping and be doing, and finding line value edge. And if you're not doing those two things, just know that you're losing. But the good news is for sports books, I think a lot of people just want to throw their $20 on a bet and don't really want to put in any effort. But if you're trying to become a long-term sustainable player, you got to be line shopping. Like that hole-in-one play, a lot of places had it at 110. I had to do a lot of shopping to find that plus 140 number. And that makes a massive difference if it hits.
50 cents. That's a huge gap. That's nuts.
Yeah, and that was Pizzola's whole point, that like instead of now having to hit at a 54% rate, if you shop long enough, maybe you have to hit at a 51% rate to break even or be slightly profitable. That it's worth it to go. You would price shop in every other facet of life, yet people don't want to do it in gambling.
Absolutely.
True, man. I don't know what I do, Pat, but remember, remember we talk about props? Like, what would you do to change a sport? Know what I would do? More bonuses. That's my thing. Like, if you're a heavy player, like we are, like, sometimes $20, $10, $50, whatever. Like, for long-term members, it's kind of like I want like deals over time. I want like more. Like, keep me as a customer. I'm donating tons of money and depositing into your book. Like, I want real bonuses and ones that don't have a tag where I got to hit the casino with 20 spins or do something like, you know what I mean, Pat? We've been doing this stuff for like 30 years. We've been gambling since we were children. So something like a lifetime longevity member, like they do in Vegas, for the seniors, they have the over 50 club. You get the $5 breakfast, even with inflation. That's something to say. We appreciate you as a customer, not here. We're just here to vacuum up your money.
Well, I think you'll see that once the sports books mature a little bit more, because right now they are really playing towards new customers and building up that base. Call. And they're like your whale customers who are spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars on a weekly basis at these places. So the people who are, as Jeff kind of called himself, a high-end casual entertainment bettor, where he'll bet enough money on it, but he's not a whale, but he's also not like a noob when it comes to sports betting, that there's just nothing in the current legal market that takes care of those people.
No, you're absolutely correct. And yeah, we'll see this stuff. And you know what it is, Pat? I had a conversation with my brother about this, and I just find we're bombarded with this stuff now, right? And sometimes people just want to watch a game instead of every commercial being gambling commercials, but it's a very simple concept. Since COVID, who's got the money to like throw commercials? It's gambling companies. It used to be alcohol, right? So that's what's happening right now. A lot of these places went under, and you find a lot of kids who don't even know what the hell they're doing. Like my brother's kids don't even know. Like, I'm going to put like $100 on the Flames with money that grandma gave me and stuff like that. It's just, hey, I choose to be a gambler and I've got rocked before, but it's kind of this, we're getting bombarded with this shit, and it's kind of it's really annoying right now.
Yeah, it'll even itself out over time, I think, once people get too sick of it. Let's move to the bronze picks. Let's see what we got here. I will lead off. I bet Nick Taylor outright, just because for whatever reason I'm addicted to betting Nick Taylor these days. I bet him top 30 at plus 165. He's
Nick the Dentist Taylor. I like it, Pat. You're in there.
Yeah. So
Canadian Opens to the man.
So he won here in 2020, and he's picked up top 20s at this tournament each of the past 2 years. So he has a good course history. He's been one of the better putters at Pebble Beach on these surfaces over time. And he's actually playing pretty good golf at the moment. He missed the cut at the American Express, but it was like a terrible final hole. Like he had a bad 17 that he couldn't birdie the easy 15, misses the cut on the number. What are you going to do? But he had a pretty good Sony Open as well, where he made a charge on the final day. I just think this is a really good course for him. There's only so many good Nick Taylor courses. This is one of them. And granted, this is against a much better field than we're used to seeing Nick Taylor play in, again, at Pebble Beach. But James, I do think that we're going to see players with a lot of reps in this style of tournament at these course conditions, where you're going to have like your Rory and your Scheffler who are just going to play well no matter what, that these type of guys who have the experience at this course are going to come through.
Yeah, you don't ever have to sell me on Nick Taylor. I'm a Nick Taylor slut, and I've accepted that. And I will just tell you that Nick Taylor, like, is a dude that's like, he has that ability in these reduced fields to really sneak up and get those top 10s and top 20s and stuff like that. Because, you know, like, if you go just look at the second tier of players, let's just get away from Rory and Scheffler and those guys. Just go look at that second tier of player. The difference between Nick Taylor and those guys is not a very big gap. And if he just has his, you know, A- or B+ game this week, that gap is gone. And he is just as good as those guys, if not outperforming them. So Nick Taylor at a course that kind of reminds me of, you know, like maybe it's the conditions almost kind of remind me of his Canadian Open win last week, which I still get excited about thinking about that. I'm in on Nick Taylor with you.
All right. So James, bronze pick.
All right. There's this new young upstart that I don't know if many people have heard of, Scotty Scheffler or something like that. And I think he's pretty good at golf. And I am seeing that I can get him at -110 to finish in the top 10 this week. Yet when I'm running my model on the back end for what I'm doing, what I give out to all my members, I have him at like 68% for a top 10 this week. So if you're going to get a 68% projection that he's going to finish in the top 10 and you only have to lay -110, well, that starts to become about as good of a bet as you can get. Plus, once again, not breaking any news, I think it's going to be a little tough out there this week. And the tougher conditions get, the more a guy like Scotty Scheffler really starts to take off and his value really starts to increase, in my opinion. And so with that, a bet that I will probably be putting too much money on will be old Scotty Scheffler at -110 to top 10 this week.
I mean, that felt like I think the most profitable bet that you could have made last year down the line for every tournament, Cam, was Xander Schauffele top 20 in a tournament based on his odds. I think the second best one you could have made was Scheffler top 10.
It's a great call. That's the thing. Schauffele's in really good form this year, and every week it's just leaderboard, no win. Top 10, no win. Top 5, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, betting against Scheffler is just a recipe for disaster. If you're getting a pick'em price with the juice, it has to be done. It's an order. It's not even a request. Like, just you do it. That's how good this guy is.
All right. One more from you, Cam. Bronze pick.
Oh, there's so many, Pat. I just want to pick the right guy in my top 30 market. I kind of like Kitayama, Bezoutenhout. What about Tagala this week? You guys have an opinion? See, this is what I do every week, James. I drive Pat nuts. I got like 7 things that I can't narrow down and usually pick the wrong one.
Well, I buy the narrative that Tagala is kind of like a younger Spieth, and if this is a course where Spieth has great course history, I'm buying the narrative that maybe this is a good fit for Tagala too. Then,
so the thing about Tagala is he sprays it, and you know what I mean. Like maybe he'll be forced to lay up and do some smart things, and once he gets that putter hot, like he's a pretty good price. Like he's +110 for a top 30, and to me that sounds pretty damn nice. So you know what? I'll go with Tagala. Others, I also like Bezoutenhout, and I know, Pat, you were on Kitayama, I think. So if I think Tagala can actually be like top 5 or 10, I'll definitely take him top 30 at +110.
So it's funny, the 3 names that you have +115 at DraftKings Sportsbook, by the way. I saved you 5 cents.
You know what, Pat? Just put all my stuff at DraftKings Sportsbook and I'll get an extra $5 like on $10 on every play. Thank you. It's time for me to actually get an account. I got 5, and you know I got to deal with Johnny Knuckles sometimes when I got to hedge off action. Still got to have my street book. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, you lose, you get a case of wine, tomato sauce, or a lasagna. That's I like the personal touch, so I keep one of those. But yeah, I gotta get an account there. Those prices are great.
So I'll talk about my outrights for the week because I have 6 of them. My winning 6-pack, as I mentioned before, the highest guy that I have, and I actually got a profit boost on him. So I bet Ben An at 55-1, but I got it boosted by 30%. So I believe it's up to 70-1 for him. But I'll put it as 55 because that's what the number is out there for people to get. So Ben An 55-1, and here's what you're gonna like, Cam. Thigala 70-1 with a top 5 each way. I have Nick Taylor at 85-1, no each way. Christian Bezuidenhout 100-1 with a top 5 each way. Kurt Kitayama 150-1 with a top 5 each way, and Maverick McNeely 150-1 with a top 5 each way. I'm just taking a bunch of bombs. I might end up getting to Matthew Fitzpatrick, because I did bet Alex Fitzpatrick on the DP World Tour at 25-1 this week. I mentioned CH3 and Danny Lee on the Live Tour, so that's where I'm going with my outright selections this week.
I can't believe this. Like, we have some of the same guys. I don't have models. I literally like have a Pat knows. Like, James, I'm a caveman. I write things down. Like, when I'm watching sports, I like what this team did. Take them as a dog next week or in the next game. And like, I'm kind of old school that way. I used to stay at the El Cortez when they use like tiles and a marker to do their sports book stuff. So I don't run simulations. I leave that up to Pat, but I watch a hell of a lot of golf, all tours. Like, I bet on the senior tour as well. So Pat, we have some of the same guys. I like Fitzpatrick at 35. What do you guys think about Eric Cole? I can't get off this guy. If he wins this week and I don't have him, I'm going to lose my mind. I just worry about the wins and maybe the length. But do you guys like Cole? I like Tagala. I like Bezettenhout, and Brendan Todd kind of fits the bill as well.
Yeah, the Todd father. In my short-term modeling from fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off, Eric Cole's number one.
Cole's. This is a great course fit for Cole. I think that I think you're probably getting slightly better odds than you should this week, just off of his miscut last week at a course that was a horrific course fit for him.
Wow, I feel good. I got Pat. Like, I'm literally like, we have the same picks. Like, I might take Bezettenhout at like 125. Fitzpatrick is one of my lower guys. Like, out of like, I wouldn't call it chalk at 35-1, but he's my horse this week that I'm going to ride.
Yeah, like I said, I am more than likely going to make an in-play bet on, like, Cantlay was the one that I was looking at, but I do like that top 20 at -140. Xander, Spieth, Justin Thomas. Like, I couldn't really decide between any of those guys. And then I looked at the weather and I was like, I don't know how this is going to come out. I'd rather just have, I want to see if I can leverage myself with some long shots, get one or two of those guys into the mix, and then I can make an educated decision coming down the stretch based on what I've watched so far and what the stats tell me at the same time. Let's see if I can fuse those together. Or maybe, Bezadenhout runs away with it and we hit. I mean, Pavon shouldn't have won last week at Torrey Pines, because that's not a course where you would ever expect him to be good. But he had a good Sony, he had a good Amex, he just had some good current form coming in, and boom, he makes all the putts, he pops, he ends up winning. Bezadenhout has some pretty good form coming in. That's why I ended up going with him.
I couldn't agree more. And out of the big guys, I was going to ask you, like, I think if the weather does play, I got to like Thomas more. Just his ability to play in tough conditions. Like, we've seen him before. Remember, he always seems to get the bad end of the draw. And I've seen him put together minus rounds where guys are shooting 77, 78. That's the thing. Like, I like little Spiethy and the rest of the crew, but out of those guys, I got to take Thomas because I think he has the power, the shots to do better in conditions than the other guys. So if I'm going to take a chalk player, it'd be Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas James was the guy who rallied from the bad end of that Players' Championship 2 years ago when Cam Smith won. He was in like the shit wave when like Brooks was having a laugh, hitting into the water on 17, and Thomas just grinded through the terrible conditions.
Yeah, I remember that pretty well. I'm telling you, I'm pretty big on Thomas this week, which is funny because just a month ago, I was talking about how broken he is and how he's never going to be back. And now I'm like buying all the Justin Thomas stock I can. Then I look at these conditions and it just makes me that much more. I mean, that's why he was my gold pick this week. I'm pretty high on old Justin Thomas this week.
So maybe I don't get to Fitz. Maybe Justin Thomas ends up becoming my bet. I do. I'll have it in the newsletter later on Wednesday if I do decide on someone. But I think after talking it through with you guys, it's down between Thomas and Fitz. We'll see how that ends up going.
How do you guys feel about Fleetwood this week?
No. To win a tournament? No, thank you. Is Pebble Beach?
Win a tournament in America. He wins, just not in America.
Is Pebble Beach in the Middle East? Did it get moved? Like, it's funny because Fleetwood's going to get his win in America, but it's only going to have to be at the time when literally no one is on him.
Yeah, he's minus 120 to bet versus Tom Kim, and I was considering betting it.
Tom Kim's good, man.
Trust me, I was on Tom Kim when he won, Pat. Like, I remember that time. Remember where I was at a wedding the night before, and I literally was like absolutely tuned, and I turned on the TV. My girlfriend's like, didn't you bet on Kim? I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of Kims out there, honey. She goes, oh, it's Tom Kim. And he had like a 5-shot lead, and he won that tournament. Man, we made boxcars when he won. So, no, I always loved Tom Kim. He's got a free roll with me, but I just think Fleetwood will play pretty good. And if it gets windy and stuff like that, he'll handle it. But you're right, Pat. He's a hard guy to trust to win.
Well, I'm just looking at the updated weather right now just to give people an update. And again, I'll have the update in the newsletter later on because maybe like there's flood warnings, high wind warnings going on for the area. Like later on Wednesday evening, there's going to be a ton of rain and 46-mile-per-hour winds. Now, fortunately, no one's playing in that. And there doesn't seem to be any wind whatsoever on Thursday, but there's a bunch of rain. So I don't know if the tee times are going to get pushed back, if guys are going to go out at the times that they're supposed to go out. So that becomes the really difficult part for me. And then I look at Sunday, James, and it's just a shit show with rain and winds up over. So at some point, it's going to be 60-mile-per-hour winds. Like, they're not playing in that.
I got to tell you, I'm like already looking at this. Nobody gets off the weather more than the big guy. And I don't think it's going to be crazy that they might try to start some round 4 Saturday. Like, they might try to squeeze in 27. I don't think they can get 36 holes in Saturday, but they might try to squeeze it in knowing that they are going to have minimal playing time on Sunday. And that the people are going to need to get the hell out of there to get down to the waste management. And I mean, Sunday looks almost unplayable between the rain and the wind. Like, the balls won't be able to stay on the greens; they'll just be rolling everywhere. So they're going to have to come up with something. And I know that they're probably already factoring this in. And if they don't, you could be looking at a Monday afternoon finish.
Even if it's Monday afternoon, like, Monday looks not quite as unplayable as Sunday, but it looks pretty unplayable.
Yeah, I see right now at 4:00, they're projecting a 1/4 inch of rain, which is a shit ton in an hour.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe it's a 3-day tournament. That would be, if I had to guess, if they can't condense it, because I don't know how much they're going to be able to play Thursday and Friday. Maybe it's fine. I guess the one benefit to all of this is that it's only 80 players.
I would love a 3-day tournament because every fucking Sunday, my guy pisses and shits himself, Pat. If golf was a 1 to 3 round tournament, like the first round leader, things would be different. We'd be living on a golf course. Like, I can't get any guy to close on Sunday. It drives me fucking nuts. Like, it's just, I'm looking at my guy. Wow, look at my leaderboard. It's great. And then I just sit there depressed every Sunday going, what are we betting on in the NHL now? Great.
So, Cam, I will see you next week for the Super Bowl best bets.
You will, Pat. I might be on the road. Nobody vacations in Buffalo, but Cam, Stewart, and Lisa. That's what we do. I'm going down to Niagara Falls, New York. Don't walk there at night, friends. It gets a little bit stabby, but I got some friends down there, and I'm probably going to be at Seneca, Pat, gambling my ass off. And I need to get out of this house. It's becoming a personal prison. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be going down there. But anything for you, buddy. I'll do the show, and I'll make sure I get good Wi-Fi if I have to pay extra money. I hope they have it, but I'll be there.
Well, I appreciate your dedication to being a professional, Cam. James, what do you have going on this week?
Yeah, just if you are wanting to know a little bit more about the weather updated tonight, I do a stream at 7:00. It's more DFS focused, but a lot of it can be used for betting. Come check it out on my YouTube channel, Degenerate 75, and you might enjoy it. It's probably not like most of the streams you watch.
That's true.
75 because you're born in 75, James?
No, I'm born in 84. 75 is just my old high school football number.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean that. See, that was awful. I'm born in 75. You're a hell of a lot younger than me, and I'm more beat down. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. See, Pat,
sports betting will do that to you.
Yes,
It'll
it
wear
will.
You down.
Yes, it will. It will.
Reminder to everyone to smash the like and sub to the audio podcast. Turn on them auto downloads. That's something that I actually do for shows, and that takes like 5 seconds to do. So please do that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Fill up the Listeners League, and that will do it for us. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.